Imagine this: Skinwalker sightings in the Arizona desert. The road is endless, the sky wide open, and the silence so deep it almost hums. But in the desert, silence doesn't mean safety. The Navajo have always spoken about something that stalks these lands. Something ancient, something that doesn't belong in the daylight or the dark. They call it the Skinwalker. For centuries, whispers have echoed through the desert of a witch who can become a beast, of a creature that wears human skin, and of an evil that walks among us when the moon is high. But these are not just old stories. People, real people, continue to see things, hear things, and suffer encounters that defy explanation. Tonight, I'll tell you about some of the most terrifying Skinwalker sightings in the Arizona desert. Stories that make even the bravest locals avoid driving alone at night. The man on the highway. It was late, past midnight, when a trucker pulled onto an empty stretch of desert highway. The air was still. The only sound was the hum of his engine. Up ahead, he saw a man walking along the road. At first, it seemed normal people get stranded all the time. But as his headlights lit up the figure, the trucker's stomach dropped. The man was naked. His limbs were too long, too thin, bending in ways they shouldn't. His head tilted unnaturally, twitching like a broken puppet. The trucker slowed, thinking maybe the man was injured. But then, the figure dropped onto all fours and sprinted toward the truck, faster than any animal he had ever seen. Its face wasn't human anymore. Its jaw had stretched, lips curling back into something like a snarl. The trucker slammed his foot on the gas, tearing down the highway at 90 miles an hour. In his rearview mirror, he swore he saw it keeping pace, a twisted thing, half human,
half animal, until it finally melted back into the darkness of the desert. The campfire incident: two friends decided to spend the weekend camping near the Mogollon Rim. They built a fire, shared some beers, and told ghost stories under the desert sky. But around 2 a.m., the fire was nearly dead, and the desert had gone silent, too silent. No crickets, no coyotes, not even the wind. And then they heard it, a woman's voice from the tree line. "Help me, please." It was faint, broken, but unmistakably human. They grabbed their flashlights, scanning the desert brush. But the voice didn't get closer, it circled them, moving from left to right, calling out again and again, always just out of sight. One of the men shouted back, "Where are you?" The voice stopped. Then, right behind them, it whispered, clear as day, "Right here." They spun around with their lights, but no one was there. The trees bent slightly as if something had just moved through them. They didn't pack their gear. They didn't even put out the fire. They just ran to their truck and drove until dawn. The old woman in the desert. This story comes from a Navajo family near Window Rock. One night, the father left for work before sunrise. He drove past a lonely dirt road. An old woman was standing there. Her hair tangled, her clothes traditional. He slowed down, thinking she needed help. But when she locked eyes with him,
her face wasn't human. Her eyes glowed in the headlights like an animal's, her mouth stretched too wide. Yellow teeth flashing in the dark. Panicked, he hit the gas. Heart pounding. In the mirror, she was gone. But then, she stood in the bed of his truck, grinning. By the time he reached town, she vanished, but claw marks were carved into his tailgate. The creature on the roof. A student was driving home through the desert. From the roof of his car, there were no trees. The scratching grew louder. Something heavy crawled on top. He swerved in panic. A face appeared outside his window, upside down. Twisted, hairless, black eyes. He screamed and sped to a gas station. The roof was covered in deep gouges. But the attendant saw nothing. The desert is alive. It is vast, empty, watching. They can take any form, animals, voices, even people you know. Once you've seen one, you are never safe again. So if the desert night grows too still and the road feels too empty, pay attention. Because sometimes the desert is watching you back. If these stories chilled you like this video now, and if you dare to step deeper into the darkness, subscribe before the next one finds you first. The next nightmare is coming soon.